When Aiden first stepped onto the arid, red dunes of Karnax IV, he didn't expect to find much more than ruins. The planet, long abandoned after the war between the Xalak and the Cytherians, was infamous for being a graveyard of machines, battle scars, and a few lingering, failed experiments. What he didn't expect was the dog, if you could call it that. It was massive, easily 3 times the size of any Earth canine, with matted fur that was more metal than hair. Its eyes glowed faintly, as if powered by some ancient tech Aiden didn't understand. Its body was a patchwork of organic matter and cybernetic augmentations, built not for companionship, but for war. Yet, there it sat, in the shadows of a crumbling fortress, alone and barely alive. "What the hell?" Aiden muttered, stepping closer, weapon drawn. His boots crunched against shattered bones and rusted armor, remnants of a battle fought centuries ago. The creature snarled weakly, baring rows of metallic teeth, its massive, clawed paws digging into the sand. It should have been terrifying, should have sent Aiden running back to his ship. But instead, he felt sympathy. Its once ferocious body was broken, covered in scars, rusted joints, and abandoned implants that had long since stopped working. The creature had clearly been left behind, a relic of a war that no one cared about anymore. "You're just like me," Aiden said softly, lowering his weapon. "Left behind by your own kind." Aiden knew the feeling all too well. He was a wild human, one of the last of his kind, living on the fringes of galactic society. Humans weren't considered a threat anymore. Most species had evolved beyond the need for conflict, and humans had become obsolete. But there was something in the war dog's eyes that mirrored his own struggle for survival. Against his better judgment, Aiden knelt before the beast, offering his hand. It growled again, though weaker this time, its luminescent eyes flickering as though scanning him for threats. "No one's gonna hurt you anymore," he said, his voice steady but kind. For a long, tense moment, the creature stared at him. Then it collapsed, too weak to fight anymore. Over the following weeks, Aiden and the war dog, who he nicknamed Rust, bonded in ways he couldn't have imagined. He scavenged parts from the ruins and worked tirelessly to repair Rust's cybernetic components. Each fix brought the ancient war beast a little more back to life, though it was still ugly, battered, and far from the sleek killing machine it once was. Rust, despite its fearsome appearance, began to show signs of loyalty. It followed Aiden through the ruins, protected him from lurking scavengers, and even slept beside his ship at night, its massive body acting like a shield. One evening, as Aiden tinkered with Rust's leg, trying to get its hydraulic joints moving again, he found something in its system, a memory core. It was old, encrypted, and clearly military-grade. He managed to decrypt enough to see flashes of Rust's past. War, destruction, battles against species Aiden couldn't name. Rust had once been a commander's loyal pet, trained for war, but it had also been loved. The memory core showed flashes of the alien commander petting Rust, their relationship more than just soldier and weapon. Rust had once had a home. It had once been more than a tool. "You were abandoned, weren't you?" Aiden whispered, looking at the war dog with new understanding. Rust let out a low whine, its glowing eyes dimming momentarily, as if remembering a time long gone. Months passed, and the bond between man and war beast grew stronger. They were an unlikely pair, a wild human, forgotten by the galaxy, and an ancient war dog, discarded by its creators. But together they survived. Aiden taught Rust new tricks, how to scavenge efficiently, how to avoid detection by wandering patrols, even how to play, something the war dog had never known. But their peace was shattered one day when a Xalak patrol ship landed on Karnax IV. The Xalak had returned, seeking to recover any old war tech that could be useful. Aiden knew they wouldn't hesitate to kill him if they found out he had one of their ancient war dogs in his care. The patrol was quick, methodical. They were scanning the ruins with drones, moving closer to where Aiden and Rust had been hiding. Rust growled low, its hackles raised, ready for a fight. "No, boy," Aiden whispered, placing a hand on its head. "We can't take them head-on." Rust whined but obeyed, its glowing eyes watching Aiden's every move. Together, they devised a plan. Aiden would create a distraction while Rust attacked from behind, using its war instincts to neutralize the drones and soldiers. The plan worked. Rust, despite its battered body, was a force to be reckoned with. It tore through the Xalak patrol with terrifying precision, taking out drones with quick, calculated strikes. Aiden, using his human cunning, managed to sabotage their ship, leaving them stranded. After the dust settled, Aiden stood among the wreckage, looking at Rust. The war dog, though exhausted, stood tall, its eyes glowing with a fierce loyalty. "Guess you're not as ugly as I thought," Aiden said with a grin, patting Rust's side. The war dog let out a low, rumbling growl that almost sounded like a laugh. Together, they walked back toward Aiden's ship, two relics of a forgotten past. One human, one war dog, but both finally finding a place where they belonged.